Welcome back to another Regenx Roundtable conversation. I'm your host, Kara Wood, and today we have a fantastic discussion lined up. We'll be diving into finance, strategy, and the exciting future of Regenx. Joining me is Emily Richardson, CFO of Regenx, who brings a wealth of experience from oil, gas, construction, and entrepreneurship. She'll be sharing insights on recent regulatory changes, strategic financial decisions, and how Regenx is positioning itself for long-term success. Also returning to the conversation is Rick Purdy, who brings invaluable operation expertise and insight. Together, we're going to explore how Regenx is adapting to industry shifts, securing funding, and making strategic moves to solidify its position in urban mining and beyond. Let's get into it. Emily, welcome to the roundtable. I'd love to start out by having you share a bit about your journey, what drew you to Regenx, and what has the transition been like with working with large corporations to an innovative startup in urban mining?
Thanks, Cara. So like you said, I have previously had a lot of accounting experience in very large corporations, primarily in the oil and gas and construction industry. I do have a little bit of an entrepreneurial side of me as well. I do have my own accounting professional corporation. So when I was approached by Dawn to join Regenx, I thought that this was not only an exciting opportunity, but potentially a once in a lifetime opportunity to be some part of something very, very special, where I could really influence and utilize my skill set in a manner to help the company grow and succeed.
Now, Rick, you've been part of Regenx's journey for a while now. From your perspective, how has the team evolved, and what has it been like seeing Emily step up into her key role?
Yeah, you know what? It's been a lot of fun having Emily jump on board with us and bring her expertise and experience from larger corporations that had major revenues and major profits, which we're all looking for in the future. So yeah, it's been great just to have her come on board as a real example on the finance side and take that role and really just go at it. So we're excited to have her.
One of the big changes recently has been around accounting regulation, which have impacted smaller firms like the previous auditor. Can you break down what's happening and why the shift to DMCL CPA is such a strategic move for Regenx?
Yes, historically, Regenx has used small to mid-sized firms in order to have more a more personable experience with the firm as well as to save some money. Due to increasing CPA regulations, our previous auditor Gallo did let us know that they will no longer be able to audit publicly traded companies. So we reached out to a firm in Vancouver. It's a much larger firm, DMCL, who we're already working with for our audit. Um, we see this as a big benefit because in a larger firm, we have access to more expertise. And we also took this as an opportunity to change our year end. Our year end this going forward is going to be March 31st, which is a little bit different. That we're going to have an anomaly for this year only. We're going to have a 15-month year end. So what will our financial statements look like? We're going to have a year end of March 31st, 2025, comparing it against a 12-month year end of December 31st, 2023. Um, that what
I'm glad that you covered that off because I mean, it's an unusual adjustment. So, I think people would like kind of want to know, why it was the right move and how it benefits Regenx operationally.
I think it definitely gives us more efficiencies. Having a small accounting team at Regenx, we're busy January, February, as it is. Um, Shifting our year end to the end of March now gives us the opportunity to focus in more on our audit as well. The auditing company will be less busy around this time and be able to focus in and really, really help us.
So, Rick, from an operational perspective, does this change sort of day-to-day financial planning or reporting? to the team at all?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Not as far as I see it. It's just status quo. I mean, right now we're really busy working hard to get the facility up and running in Newport since we've moved from Greenville to Newport. And we're just all hands on deck making that happen. So at this point, we're not creating a lot of revenue, but we'll be getting into that here in short order. So it doesn't affect us on that side day to day.
So, funding and government grants. Let's talk about funding. Regenx recently secured an IRAP funding of 50K. Emily, do you want to give us a little bit of insight into that?
Yeah, so as we know, research and development is crucial for us at Regenx. Um, IRAP is the Industrial Research Assistant Program, and it's supported by the Canadian federal government's National Research Council of Canada. We were previously awarded $50,000 to support our Vancouver lab, and this week they increased it by another 30,000, which is very, very exciting. The primary role of the Vancouver lab is to find efficiencies and improve our process. Going back to our fiscal year end now being March 31st, the federal government's year end is also March 31st. So this initial 80,000 that has already been granted to us, we see as just the beginning. As the federal government goes into a new fiscal year, we foresee new applications and new projects going forward and hopefully new funding coming our way.
Now, Rick, securing funding is a key part of ensuring operational stability. From your side, how does this funding impact your scaling and production planning?
Yeah, in Tennessee here, we've been awarded the Tennessee Valley Authority um, grant just recently, and we're in the queue to get more money. We're going to be working hard to get that here in March and April coming up. So very excited about that. That'll help us scale our business on this front.
Rick, we talk a lot about tariffs in this space, and there's always a question of whether Regenex's business is viable long term. Can you address that concern?
Sure. Yeah, as far as we're kind of going day by day right now, to be honest, with understanding what the tariffs mean for everyone. What I can say is that we are local here in Tennessee. We're in the United States. So our customers are here, our partners are here, the people we collaborate, the supply chain is here local. So the tariffs at this point should not affect us as we move forward. And as time goes, that's going to tell on how we're going to address it globally. But right now, we're just glad to be in the US with our local facility and ready to take material on in short order here once the facility is ready to start. So that's probably the best thing I can say right now with the information that we have.
With regards to strategic planning and investment, Regenix has a strong investor backing, and you recently had a major supporter join the board. So, what does this signal for the company's future, Emily?
I think it signals a very positive future for Regenx. We've got a handful of very large investors that have been helping us get back into production. And the joining of one of our biggest supporters to the board only should have strengthened investor confidence.
Mhm. Rick, what do you think having the right investors means from a leadership perspective? Just to sort of give what Emily was saying, just sort of back it up a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, it means everything. Having someone that believes in your company and is invested and that, can bring also more than just investment to the company, smart money. We have John Keeland that's actually been down at the plant here in Tennessee multiple times. He's visiting right now, helping with certain strategies with the team to get it back up and running. It just shows a lot of commitment and excitement for what him and his family see for the vision of Regenx. Why don't speak about John just for a moment? John comes from an interesting background. Him and his family, they've been involved with a company called DPF Alternatives, which is a silicon carbide diesel catalytic converter and AutoCAD cleaner. They actually their business is a franchise that's really stemming across the United States very fast. It's one of the fastest growing businesses in the United States right now, and that's cleaning AutoCADs and converters and recycling and so on of that material. So he's got a large background in that type of arena, and very close friends with the people involved with it, and been involved for the last couple of years specifically. John's got a great business background. He's very smart. He's done lots of different ventures, him and his father and family. And it's a real honor having them around to help us with strategy to move the business forward, and to see, pitfalls ahead, things to consider. Also, what the vision as we're creating more and more of it as we go, and what the growth looks like. So that's it's been an honor having him around for sure. Excellent
All
guy.
right. So we're going to sort of roll into, we touched on it a little bit with regards to tariffs, but we didn't kind of go a little bit deeper into it. And I'm sure that sort of people want to hear from you, Emily, being the CFO, because global trade dynamics are always shifting. And you mentioned that while current trade conflicts don't directly impact Regenx, the Tennessee plant, or the Canadian lab, could they in the future? And is there do you have a long-term outlook and plan in place?
Um, Absolutely. Like Rick said, things are changing day by day. I can also speak to the Vancouver lab. Again, everything is sourced locally, so the tariffs shouldn't impact items purchased there. We are currently exploring other US-based suppliers when it comes to expanding into modules 2, 3, 4. For example, our original centrifuge was purchased from China. We're now looking at American suppliers for items such as that.
And Rick, you've been exploring more USA-based suppliers like the centrifuge replacement. Do you want to speak a little bit into that initiative and how it fits into Regenex's broader supply chain strategy?
Sure. Yeah. The Everything that we do going forward is going to be focused on supply chain within the United States, uh, with our partnerships, our customers, and equipment that we may need in the modules to operate. So everything is just focused right now. We got great relationships we've been establishing the last 3-4 months here locally, actually for many months. And of course, Bob, he's been in the industry for many years, so he's got a lot of contacts coming from his arena. So that's been a great help. So we don't see any issues as far as the supply chain and the materials and the equipment that we need to operate successfully.
So, Emily, the U.S. Department of Energy did a critical minerals assessment in 2023, and they recognized that PGMs, they recognize them as critical minerals. Can you sort of weigh in how Regenex is going to fits into that conversation?
Absolutely. We're first of all hoping to leverage on this fact. We are putting together a US Department of Energy proposal asking for funds. Obviously, right now, with the current political situation, everything is on hold. There is also a Canadian critical minerals infrastructure fund, because, again, the Canadian government also sees platinum and palladium as critical minerals. It's important to note that due to the fact that federal governments see these minerals as critical, investments in projects like ours are really important and promote economic growth. Um, so, in the Department of Energy's critical minerals assessment that we've discussed, it's extremely clear that there is a shortfall of supply, and being a part of the circular economy and recycling these PGMs is absolutely critical. We do get asked a lot, well, is your business sustainable with increasing government regulations? Um, Absolutely. Firstly, the regulations aren't going to impact us for at least another 15 years, as the EV vehicles are coming into production a lot slower than anticipated. But there are so many other areas where PGMs are required. I want to touch on the hydrogen economy. So the hydrogen economy is now an increasing trend that Regenix is going to be a part of. Platinum and palladium are key elements in the hydrogen industry because of its unique properties. It's used in hydrogen fuel cells, it's used in electrolysis, and it's used in hydrogen purification. So the supply risk of platinum and palladium is significant both in the short term and in the long term as the hydrogen economy does rely on these PGMs.
The silicon carbide has been added as well to the critical materials list, and that's our tailings. That's our waste product that we end up with after we've done the extraction on the PGMs through our process. So that's very exciting for us for an opportunity to delve into where we can go with that with the U.S. government and the Canadian government to recover, recirculate, and make that a profit center for us as well. So we're going to keep on working on that as time goes. The AI industry is going to drive the opportunity for recycled and recovered materials such as silicon carbide. There's going to be a large demand, and it's already happening now. From what the research that we have put together, we believe it's going to be a big market for our tailings. We recycle, recover probably 70 to 80% of our material is silicon carbide. So that's going to be a great opportunity for Regenx going forward, where we take one of our waste products and we produce something that has value that we can sell and make money on that we actually never had our eyes on earlier on. So it's exciting sector to be in.
That's really interesting. That's sort of a second layer to the participating in the circular economy. So it's like, every like whatever you're producing, even tailings, you're sort of putting back into work. That's amazing.
Yeah, if we get this system, our module one, we'll get it up and running here very, very soon. And we'll be producing over 4,000 pounds a day of material. So if you take even 3,000 pounds of silicon carbide a day, that's a lot of material that's going to be going that right now has been lost in the market that has a great home to go to. So we're going to focus on finding a great home for that and be a large producer for that industry on the recycle circular economy area. So.
That wraps up today's Regenx Roundtable conversation. A big thank you to Emily Richardson and Rick Purdy for sharing their insights and helping us understand the financial and strategic direction of Regenx. We'll be back in a few weeks with another conversation, so stay tuned. In the meantime, be sure to check out our latest updates and follow along as Regenx continues to innovate in urban mining and sustainability. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next time. A quick note. The information shared in this series is for informational purposes only and should not be considered investment advice. We encourage everyone to do their own research and consult with financial professionals before making any investment decisions. Our discussions will focus on our business operations, growth strategies, and our commitment to transparency in everything we do.